Welcome back, familiar to Northside LDN, and today we've got Arsenal could pay £65 million to trigger Solanke release clause. The Bournemouth striker has been linked to Arsenal. Obviously, Solanke had a very good season this season in the Premier League. 38 appearances, 19 goals, 3 assists, and in the FA Cup he had 1 appearance, 1 goal, 1 assist. In the Carabao Cup, he had 3 appearances and 1 goal. So he's had his best Premier League season. He's had his best Premier League season. First time hitting double digits for Bournemouth, and 26 years old, British striker, and he's been looked at Arsenal because of his low release clause. When you compare the price tag to Osimhen and strikers like that, he's looking like not a bad deal. So it looks like Arsenal are looking to trigger his release clause. The article goes on to say Arsenal may turn to Bournemouth striker Dominic Solanke in the upcoming summer transfer window as they look to snap up a new striker in a bid to close the gap on the Premier League rivals Man City, and it could reportedly cost them £65 million. The Gunners have been strongly linked with a move for RB Leipzig forward Benjamin Sesko, who has emerged as the club's top target. But the impressive campaign from the Bundesliga talisman has put plenty of clubs across Europe on alert. It goes on to say Arsenal could be forced to look elsewhere, with former Liverpool striker Solanke reportedly high up on their list of alternatives following his stunning top flight campaign, in which Thierry Henry praised the Englishman for his brilliant form. It says Arsenal learn of £65 million price tag. Initially, Arsenal were hopeful of saving some cash following the development of Kai Havertz in the number 9 role throughout the season, but it seems the Gunners have made a U-turn on that approach and are now prepared to dip in the market for a more natural goal scorer. Solanke has been on fire in the black and red of Bournemouth on the south coast this season and has netted 19 goals in the English top flight, the same number as Aston Villa's Ollie Watkins and Man City star Phil Foden. Goes on to say Arteta reaped the rewards of keeping patient with Havertz, who made a slow start to his Arsenal career following a £65 million move from Chelsea last summer, but turned out to be an integral part of the side that pushed Man City to the final day of the season as the club's leading striker. The German, who was not seen as an out-and-out goalscorer like Sesko and certainly Solanke, contributed 14 goals across all competitions in his debut season with the Gunners. That is more goal involvements than his previous 3 seasons in the West London with Chelsea. What else is it going to say? Only certain clubs can activate Solanke's release clause. Where is it? Athletic have reported that Solanke has a £65 million release clause and is only available to a selected amount of clubs. However, the identity of those clubs is currently unknown. With that said, the Express note that this news could be of interest to Arsenal. Bournemouth will be in no hurry to sell the player they bought from Liverpool 2019 for £19 million after he signed a 4-year deal last year, which will keep him at the club until 2027. Solanke's contract also includes a sellout clause where if he were to move for his £65 million release clause, Liverpool would receive 20% of the fee. Newcastle are also understood to be monitoring Solanke and have reportedly stepped up their interest in the striker by making initial contact with the player's camp. Now, £65 million for Solanke isn't bad in a market where there isn't a whole heap of quality. The only thing is, this is his first season hitting double digits. Is this a Me Too season? I don't think it is. I actually think Solanke's developed into a very good striker. Hard to barge off the ball, pretty clinical in the box. I think he's done very, very well for Bournemouth. Obviously, since making that move from Liverpool, that showed that he wanted to be he believed in himself. He wanted to get regular football, and he wanted to grow. And at the time, he couldn't do that at Liverpool. I think at Bournemouth, he's come a long way. I think he's decent passer of the ball, strong. He can head the ball. He's a good finisher in the box. I wouldn't be so angry. I obviously Solanke, is he my top target? No, I'll be honest. I don't think he's my top target. Well, he definitely isn't my top target. I'd still put um, Ivan Tony and Isak ahead of him, but I don't think he's a bad choice. I don't think he's a bad striker to go for. I wouldn't be angry at it. I think he would give us, he would be our most clinical striker if he came to Arsenal. But at the same time, only doing it in one season, is this actually his new level? Or I don't know. I don't know. That's the only thing. Um, Before this season, I think he hit what, 6 goals, something like that. But £65 million. I mean, you're not breaking the bank. He would have cost the same amount that we paid for Kai Havertz. What 2022-23 season, he scored 6 goals, 7 assists, and then before that, I think he was in the championship. But yeah, listen, I like Solanke. I think he's actually a decent striker. I just think that there's better out there. I think Isak has more experience for going out in Spain and doing it in Spain and then coming to the Premier League. I think he's a more developed striker, whereas Solanke, he's just starting to hit what seems to be his new level. I wouldn't be angry. I actually wouldn't be angry with this one. This one's actually all right. I'll be honest. I'd rather go for the main target though, which is a Isak, or a Ivan Tony. I mean, Ivan Tony's been doing it for a lot longer as well. I think he's more established. There's definitely more established strikers, but I wouldn't be mad with Solanke. I definitely prefer Solanke over Sesko. I definitely prefer Solanke over Xerxes. So there's strikers that we've been linked to that I think I would put Solanke over, but he's not my number one choice. He's definitely not my number one choice, but I think he's a decent striker. What I do know is he'd probably more than likely score more than 20 goals at Arsenal if he came to Arsenal than Bournemouth, with all due respect to Bournemouth. But he's a good player, man. He's a good player. I remember when Bournemouth were playing Man United and he was outstanding. He played really, really well. Really, really well. We just need a proper striker, and that's what Solanke gives you. You ain't going to play any other position but striker. So Arteta won't really be able to move him around the pitch. He could only play as a centre forward. And I think he's just one of them traditional back to goal strikers, decent link up player, get in the box. You know what I mean? Does the business, but I don't know. There's better options. There are better options. I can't lie. I still put Ivan Tony and Isak ahead of him. I still think that I think Ivan Tony out of all of them technically is the best one. I think he's the most versatile in terms of goals. I think Solanke is a decent header of the ball, and good finisher. But I still put Ivan Tony ahead of all of these lot. I can't lie. And then I'll put Isak. I still put Isak as number 2 ahead of Solanke. But Solanke's up there. Solanke's up there. I'd rather go for a Solanke than Gyökeres. A lot of people are telling me, "Oh, but Gyökeres done it in the Championship." Yeah, but Solanke's come from the Championship. He's played in the Championship before. I think he knows what the expectations are to play for a big club as well, because he played for Liverpool. Even though he wasn't a starter, but he's been around a big club before with big expectations. I'd rather go for Solanke than Gyökeres. I just feel like he's actually doing it in the Premier League, where Gyökeres hasn't done it in the Premier League. So it's still a bit of a big question mark whether he's able to do it in the Premier League. Whereas Solanke, we've seen him doing it in the Premier League. Gyökeres hasn't done it. So I would put Solanke ahead of a lot of strikers that we've been linked to. Sesko, Xerxes, a lot of them. But listen, that's my opinion for media. Make sure you're liking and subscribing, letting me know. Do you rate Dominic Solanke? Do you not? This release clause as well. It's not really clear what teams actually have or can trigger the £65 million release clause. In a way, I'm kind of surprised that Liverpool are not going in for him, because Darwin Núñez, maybe they don't have the cash and they got to spend it elsewhere, but Darwin Núñez hasn't necessarily hit the ground running. So I think Solanke would be, he'd do more than Darwin Núñez. He'd definitely do more than Darwin Núñez. But at the same time, I mean, they get 20% of the fee if the player leaves. So it is what it is. If he gets sold, they still get 20. They still get their 20%. But yeah, it's surprising that I haven't seen Liverpool being linked to Dominic Solanke, him going back there. Maybe he doesn't want to go back there. Maybe, you never know. You never know. But we need a striker. We need a striker. But what's crazy is sometimes some reports are talking about it, like Arsenal can't afford the release clause for Sesko, but then the release clause for Solanke is higher, but then we're being linked to Solanke. Or we can't afford the release clause for Sesko, but then we're being linked to Osimhen. But the release clause is higher for Osimhen than all of these players. It just doesn't really make sense. Like, one day we got money, next day we don't have money. One day we can't afford 50 million release clause. Next day we're going for a player that's got 65 million or 90 million or 130 million release clause. It's all confusing, to be honest. But we just need a quality striker. We need a quality striker. And for me, maybe some people would look at Solanke best value for money, £65 million. He scored 19 goals. Maybe that's quality for money, but for me, I'd just rather go for the best player available. And the best players available for me is still Ivan Toney and Isak. They're the best two available, in my opinion. But that's my opinion. Make sure you're liking and subscribing. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think. And without further ado, familia, I'm out. Love.